Hello everybody. Hopefully this will work this time. So yeah, I had cause to wipe my PC recently. Oh, and apologies for not being uploading a video to the channel Singer-Songwriters and Ableton Live in a long time. So this video is going to be showing you many different things. One of them that comes to mind is I have a folder. You see here, I have two folders, 32-bit and 64-bit for Ableton Live. And so I have a few little quirky bits and pieces in Ableton Live VST 32-bit, which I can actually bridge and turn into 64-bit by using this program called JBridge. There it is, there you see. So we're going to do that. Now I can't open these folders, but because when I do over my speakers, I get this high whizzing clicking sound. It doesn't show up in the video, but I get it over my speakers here, which is kind of strange. And I have no idea what it is. It happened every time I kept opening the 32-bit folder there. So I'm not going to open those folders. It's not to hide it because I'm hiding anything. It's because I get this kind of like glitching, high speed glitching, whizzing sound when I do go into the folder. So I'm not going to do that. But just trust me that in Ableton Live 64-bit, you must create a new folder called 64-bit, called Bridge, just Bridge. And that is going to be where you're going to store the scanned plugins from 32-bit, and they get created and transferred into 64-bit within your 64-bit folder, okay? So I'll run JBridge as administrator. And I'm just going to check the video there, I think. So okay, so now it's asking me, you know, the architecture of the host. The host being Ableton Live 10, 64-bit. So I moved over to 64-bit about a year ago because my PC has 8 gig RAM. And when I was on 32-bit, it could only access 4-bit. So I needed that bit more when I was going through process-intensive sessions in Ableton. So it's asking me to use, I'm going to tell it I'm using 64-bit, which it is, 64-bit Ableton Live 10. Now it wants to know where to scan, and I'm going to use the default setup here, and just click on that. And so 32-bit is where it's going to scan it. And then it's asking me where the destination is going to be. So the destination is going to be that bridge folder in 64-bit. So that's that one there. And now it's analyzing. And so we just sit back and, you know, breathe the air and watch it do its thing, which it is, which is at 43% now. And it's doing Kontakt 5.16 out.dll. My favorite sample library sampler. Ripping through there. This software requires installation of device driver tpkd and a reboot before running. Please reboot or reinstall the software. I'm just going to say okay. I'm going to say okay. And seems to have done something. 50 files bridge for use in your 64-bit VST host. 94 subdirectories scanned. Point your VST host to the directory where the host files were placed. It's recommended not to include it in its scan the directory where the real plugins are. So what that is saying is blah 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 blah. It's basically saying set your VST host in Ableton Live, which we're gonna go and do now. So that's something else for you to learn with me this evening. Let's do that. Okay, so here we are in Ableton Live 10, and as you can see, there is the folder bridge within the 64-bit plugins, and there are all the plugins which would not open otherwise. So I had to do this because when I try opening up Ableton, that old session that was in Ableton Live 9, opening it up in 10, basically because I wiped my computer, and I hadn't used JBridge to bridge the files from 32-bit to 64-bit. These ones here, these VSTs, weren't showing or opening in my session, in my Live 9 session. They weren't opening up in 10 because they hadn't been JBridged from 32-bit to 64-bit. So they are now. So next thing I'm going to do is show you. Next thing I'm going to do is show you where you scan your folder, your VST folder. So it's in here in Preferences, under Options, Preferences, File Folder, and then you go down to Plugin Sources, and you turn on Use VST plugin folder, and I'm just going to turn my phone on silent here. People sending me messages and it's binging, blank, blanging while I'm trying to do a video. So basically, use VST plugin folder, turn it to on, and then you go to VST plugin custom folder and you browse. There's my pathway there. Okie dokie. And so you would click on that there and say select folder. All right. And of course, because in my 64-bit folder is a folder called Bridge, which JBridge has sent my scanned 32-bit and created a 64-bit version of them in there. So next thing I'm going to do is open up that session that I created in 9 and go through piecing back the Kontakt instruments into their rightful folders, and we'll continue on from there. Okay then, here we go. Go to File. I go to Open Recent because I've recently opened it. We have Breakbeat New Drums, Finding Vocal Hook, 64-bit I.als, mapped operator. And if that doesn't confuse you, nothing will. So it's opening that up now. As you can see, loading live set. And okay, so what's happening here is now there are, in the Kontakt player, you have the registered library, which shows the kind of like little colorful thumbnail images down the left-hand side of the player, which I can show you later at a later date. But they are the officially registered instruments, libraries in Kontakt, Native Instruments Kontakt. And then you can also add not registered files that are created by third-party creators for libraries for Kontakt through the little file system at the back door. It's kind of like a side door. Well, a side door. So we say a side door, and then you have the main door that you walk in through. So this is a file library that is added through the side door, the file system. So the way we add this back in is through File. We go to Name of the Computer. We go through the Documents, where I keep my Kontakt instruments, and I have a folder created in my documents called Ableton Kontakt Instruments, and I open that up, and the one we're looking for is Cinematic Sound Effects. Click on that and say OK to that, and it did. It opened it up. Now it's gone on to the next one, which is missing, Kangling.nkr. The Kangling it's an instrument that's used in Tibet. It's a human thigh bone that's blown through during certain religious ceremonies. So we go through Browse for Folder, we go to the same place again, and Ableton Kontakt Instruments, and there it is, Dargalon Instrument Studio Kangling Kontakt. Click on that and it'll look for it in there, and it found it. And now there are other Kontakt instruments which are registered, which are just loading up fine. But you had to look for those because it didn't know where to look for them because they're not registered and already open in the Kontakt. So here we have a little plugin which wasn't found. Now I couldn't find this in my my software hard drive where I keep all my VSTs. I do have WoW too. Sugarbytes, I think. Sugarbytes WoW, yeah. And it's okay though, because in this session I discovered that the particular track that has the WoW VST on is not being used. So that's fine. That's great. Look at all the plugins which have been re-established within the session. So it's great. They're all gone. They're all in now. See, they're all up here. And so they're usable and findable by Ableton. So we'll go OK. And there we go. That's the song so far. It goes to about there. Let me see. Break build time. It's about there, which is about 2:15, 2.5 minutes. So I've yet to do another minute, I'd say. That's just a fill there. I kind of just reproduced what's in the first part, threw it into the second part as a holdover, but there's a gap there missing. So I'm going to play it for you now in a second. You're going to hear what this tune is like. But you see down here, there's another thing for you that you're going to discover. And that'll be the next video. It's when it tells you that there are media files missing. Okay? And what that is basically they're samples, which it doesn't know where, Ableton doesn't know where to look for those. Because now you've opened up in the program in a new computer. And it's awaiting for you to find them and then save the whole session, so it knows now the new place where to find them. So that's what we will do next. Okay. Right. So to find these files, what we do is we go down to media files are missing. We click there. We click on where it says it right down at the very bottom on this orange bar here down here, okay? And so orange, salmon color, whatever. Salmon, it's more salmon color. Let me hit that. And so it opens up this window on the right here, which is a missing media files window. And it says one of the reference files are missing. Okay. And then it gives you this automatic search option. And it gives you a suggestion for the folder to search in. And there's a go button for when you have given a location on your computer for Ableton to look for the missing files. So it then asks you, do you want to search the project? And do you want to search your Ableton library? Okay, that's all fine. But down here, these are the actual missing files here. All right. So what we do is we just go up and set the folder. It's that simple. And I have these in my Ableton audio. I've created this folder called Ableton audio resource, or Ableton audio resource, okay? And that all of my WAV audio file packs, I just throw in there and I, index them inside in that. So we select that folder and then we just hit the go button and tell Ableton to search inside that folder on the computer. It's doing it now. And it won't take long at all. Ableton is very quick. See that? 2 new candidates were found. 1 missing sample was replaced automatically. Okay. I hope they were all found. Yeah. Okie dokie. Yeah. So, yeah, so there's nothing missing now. There's nothing being told. There's no salmon colored bar at the bottom saying we have missing media files. So there they are, right there. That's what was missing. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is give you a pre-look and listen. I think all the Kontakt instruments in the rightful place. Oh, they may not be actually. They may not be, because what I do is I use an external instrument, this here, where is it? An external instrument. And I use that as a proxy for Kontakt. So I send the see there, like, yeah. Oh no, it's done. It's put it in the right place, I think. So MIDI to Kontakt 5. So let's go find Kontakt 5 and see if everything's in the right place. We'll do that next. But so now you know how to find missing media files. Okay, well, I found it. This is the Kontakt 5. So this acts as, we'll say, the foundation or the source for all the audio for the external instruments that takes the MIDI signals out from Kontakt. MIDI and audio. I think audio. Definitely MIDI anyway. So it's in all of these here. Here it is, Kontakt. And it's on its audio. I do need to organize this session a lot better though. You can see there, like, I mean, it's pretty bloody disorganized. So that was the external instrument for the Dargalon. Remember we installed the Dargalon back into we gave Kontakt and Ableton its location folder earlier in Ableton Kontakt instruments in my documents in the computer. So once we did that, Ableton was able to locate it and reinstall it in the Kontakt player, and then send it back out to the external instrument. And I may do a video on external instruments at a later point for you, if that would be of any help. So what we do is we go down and we check it. We check the Kontakt instrument itself, which is there. Number 44, Kontakt 5. And there we are. Those are all the instruments. Ooh, there's a lot of them. So yeah, everything's in its place. I can now save this as save as in my saving folder on my external hard drive, my mobile external hard drive, and also send a copy to my documents, so I have it in two places, not in one. As they say in the land of digital media, if something is in one place, it doesn't exist. That gets corrupt, it gets broken, gets whatever, you've lost it. So always save it in two places. So I'll just give you a preview of what this tune sounds like. Now, as I said, it only goes as far as 230. So here it is anyway. Check it out. Yeah, that's the Firebird synth is working fine. Okay. The Serum, that's something to do with Serum. It's playing a sine wave, I think, at the moment. So the preset that I had in there is has yet to be found by Serum. So that's something we can do as well next. Okay, that's it.